pickaxe ready and a grim expression. There's a yellow road and I'ma find it. Perseverance takes a powerful vision. There's a lot of work in gold mining. I don't know which way to find the gold. There's a whisper in my soul, better mind it. Here I go on a long ass shot to find the hill with a ribbon inside it. 12 long months I've been chasing chunks. I wonder if I'm crazy for trying. Old timers say you gotta follow your own nose, but what if mine's lying? I dig away, it's the same every day. Other veins obey, but not my one. What's this flash in the pan? Oh man, it's a big fat nugget of shine. Look at me, I'm the new queen bee. All of life's a game and I'm winning. Burn these rags with my rucksack bags. I'll be rich enough for fine linen. Oh, come my friends from your pain and poverty. Everybody eats for free when I'm with them. And when I'm dead they'll raise their heads in memory of the very best of women. Hello, adventurers. Welcome to episode 42 of Adventurous Spirits. I'm your host, Courtney Matz. I'm a singer-songwriter and a creativity coach. I've figured out one or two things in my 11-year career as a freelance artist, and I'm hoping to share some of those tips on our adventurousness, how to guide our internal sense of adventure as we're testing out the steps in real time, in real life. And today's episode is on mining for gold. Has anyone ever actually tried gold mining, prospecting, where you go out there and you dig in the dirt or the water or the rock and you look for something valuable? I think it's a very similar process to carving out your future, whether it be whatever your adventure may be as an entrepreneur, as an artist, as a parent. You got to do a lot of work to find anything good. And then once you find something, you got to do a lot of more work to figure out what it is. So we're going to pick up this song where we find out that what we found, that shiny goldness, is not quite what we hoped. Oh, pardon me, hate to bust your bubble, but I'm sure you've heard that there are dangers. Well, deep out here in the mine and shine through, gold ain't the only thing that glitters. See this color, the shape and density, I truly hate to see you embittered. Gold is softer and has no scent, but what you found is its image spitter. So, I think everyone has had the experience of being disappointed in the process of looking for what you're trying to find. And there's a little bit of a process in that where you got to recognize, okay, it didn't go my way this time. What does that mean for me right now? Is it still worthwhile to keep going? Don't you run, my song's not done. There's a lot more vision with insight. Give your pity to dreams forgotten. Mine thrives with every day I'm alive. doesn't hurt me anymore, I'll be alright. One thing I know for sure, in heaven no one walks on roads made of pyrite. You can bet when I walk through heaven, I'll be treading gold that came from my mind. Na 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 na. That song is called Pyrite Road. It's inspired by a real road that I drove past around Christmas time 2018. For whatever reason, that name just stuck with me. And it wasn't too much longer later that I watched this series of short films called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs. Has anybody seen that? It is, it's a Coen Brothers production, and I do love the Coen Brothers. Their mix of wit and storytelling, dark comedy, works out beautifully for just a whole variety of stories set in the Old West, pioneering days. When, things were very different. There was a lot of space to explore and to territory to fight over, figuring out what the world should be like in a whole new way. But there was one little short bit about a prospector, a gold miner, and they show this whole process of him going out there, digging, looking, working really hard to figure out where the gold is. And then, of course, he discovers it. And as soon as he does all the work of finding it, somebody else comes along and tries to steal it out from under him. And like most Coen Brothers films, there's not like a happy ending, but it's not a terrible ending. It doesn't make you feel like, oh, there's no point in trying, but it is sort of an ironic ending. Steve's seen it, I bet. Steve says, I finally watched Ballad of Buster Scruggs not long ago. Really liked it. Yeah, good. I'm glad you liked it. I was impressed with it as well. But I'm just laying this out as backdrop for the perfect kind of environment for all of these ideas about gold mining and prospecting and working hard and having your success sort of stolen from you in one way or another, either intentionally or just through fate. Because it was against all of this backdrop that I then had a situation where my car got towed. I inadvertently parked in a temporary construction zone, and I didn't realize it until my car was gone. And so I spent so much money, you guys, so much of what I had spent this entire month really trying to earn and working really hard to earn. And it just felt just like that guy in the Prospector short film who had just like was starting to feel like, okay, I think I might have something here. And then it's just like, nope, someone wants to come and take it. And it wasn't like I could just refuse to pay that money because they had my car. It was impounded and they were legally fine with doing that. And I thought about, should I go and, pursue this with the city of LA, because I did not see a sign. I would contend that there was no sign there when I parked the night before. But while I was walking to pick up my car in the impound lot, it was about 2 miles away from where I live, so I had a little bit of time, and this song just started weaving itself in my imagination. And I felt like I have my answer. I'm in this for way more than just that gold. I mean, I want to find gold, but it's really about the process and the opportunities you discover while you're looking for gold that you didn't realize existed in the first place. I'm not saying there's never a time to contend for money that you feel you don't have to spend. I've definitely done that too. But in this particular instance, the song has been very instructive for me personally, and I think kind of puts things back into perspective, that I'm not necessarily here on this artist entrepreneurial journey, this adventure, to have like one happy ending. What do you think about that? Does that resonate with you at all? Are there more things to discover on this path of adventure than just getting to the end of it? Like, what's the joy in the journey part of this? Because I really think, and I've been exploring this idea in this week's series on Power Notes, which is my daily memos to your inner go-getter. Just short thoughts to kind of power you through your day or power you into your day. But we're talking about adventure, and I really think that our human spirits long for adventure. We have all different ways of satisfying that longing, and there are many ways in the world in which to indulge that longing, whether it's stamp collecting, finding the perfect rare specimen, or scaling a rock wall with your bare hands. I'm somewhere in between those two. Pardon me. And we just want to be challenged. Like, there are times where we're just not content with things being the way they are. It's time to find out what else we're capable of. So, I wonder today, where are you longing for adventure? Is it that you feel like you kind of have figured out where you are to the extent that you want to? And maybe you're not totally bored, but you're just kind of ready for something new? Or are you in the middle of an adventure that's kind of lost its sense of adventurousness? That happens so much, oh my goodness. Because especially with entrepreneurship, I mean, you make this leap of faith where you're like, okay, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but here I go. And then you just kind of keep figuring it out, and sometimes it gets tiring. It's a long journey. It's not just a quick, oh, that was exciting, what's next? It's just ongoing. Same with parenting. You get to have this little baby and it's really fun, or maybe you're adopting and you get to have a kid of whatever age that arrives. And it's all new and fresh and challenging, and you lose a lot of sleep, but it's kind of like, woo, this is so new and exciting. And after a while, it gets to be just a lot of work. And we got to find new ways of connecting with that sense of adventure in order to remember what we're in it for, which is the beauty that you discover along the way. It's the not the one big happy ending, but the ongoingness of finding out what you can do and finding out that you have more inside of you than you realized. All right, got another comment from Steve. I've always thought happily ever after sounded boring. It would be a shame to get to the end of the adventure before I get to the end of my life. For sure. It would. I agree with that. So, here's a couple of takeaways. I've been studying the Klondike gold rush in preparation for this week's series of newsletters to your inner go-getter, Power Notes. And I think there's something about the call of adventure. But another takeaway is just, we got to believe that the gold is there. in order to go and find it. You gotta believe that the gold is there. And I think the gold is there for us in two different senses, because I don't think anybody listening to me right now is probably out mining for gold, literally. So, but you're probably looking for gold in so many other ways. So first, do you believe the gold is there, whether it is literal treasure in terms of wealth or money or a legacy that you're going to pass down? Or is the gold there in terms of relationships and opportunities and discovering ways that you can be beneficial to the world that you never would have known otherwise? I think those are two kinds of gold that I am actively seeking. One, because I need both kinds. You know, we gotta live. We gotta pay our bills. We gotta cover insurance sometimes. That's just like the boring humdrum of life that has to happen. Adulting. And especially if I ever want to be responsible for another human life in addition to mine, I've got to be making that income. Got to have the treasure. Don't need to be like the richest person in the world, but I need to be a little richer than I currently am. Can I get an amen? And then, that other kind of gold we also need to discover opportunities. Before I moved to LA, I planned to be a filmmaker. That was my entire ambition in being here. But once I came to LA and I got invested in this town, I started to realize there are a lot of ways to tell big, epic stories. And there are opportunities to participate in that in other ways besides writing screenplays. One of them is singing songs. One of them is being a storyteller and helping to catalog your wins and your opportunities along the way, to be your minstrel and your troubadour, to tell all of our stories as we're in process. But again, these are things that I wouldn't have known about if I hadn't made the effort to come and make that leap of faith like we were talking about last week. Steve says, I feel like for gold in the Klondike gives a whole different meaning to the phrase, what would you do for a Klondike bar? Oh, hunting for gold in the Klondike, right? So last week I sang you a song that was still very much a work in progress, and I'm hoping to record it this week. But it's called Leap of Faith, and I hope that it resonates with some of these themes we've been talking about believe the gold is there, trust that you're not alone in looking for it, and look out for what other opportunities you can discover in the process. It's time to lay aside the fear of the unknown. Pick up and move away from what I've always done. This faith is growing legs and walking on its own, and I'm not sure where it's gonna go. All I know is I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, pinning all my hopes on one dream, laying it all on the line, risking everything. I have to take a flying leap of faith. In or out, no room for indecision. Get out my runway to aim high. Scary, it's hard to see how all of this will end. No way to know what's waiting just around the bend. Faith sticks around when everything looks like a mess, and one day it will all make sense. Wow, sorry about that. make sense. But until then, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket, pinning all my hopes on one dream, laying it all on the line, risking everything I have to take a flying leap of faith. And around, no room for indecision. Get out of my own way and aim high. And when I thought I lost, it's falling down, spreading all over the ground. And with my all, I wave goodbye to it. It's no longer mine, and it's fine. It's fine. Oh, I'm terrified, but it's fine. Never felt so alive. It's time to lay aside the fear of the unknown. Pick up and move away from what I've always done. This faith is growing legs and walking on its own, and I'm not sure where it's gonna go. I wonder, what is an inclination that you've been noticing in you? And maybe it is something that you're quick to dismiss and say, well, that can't happen. That would be nice in an ideal world. But listen to that. Listen to that just for a minute. What if you could find a way? What if it's possible somehow? Maybe not the direct route that you're imagining. You know, the Klondike was not just about heading up to Canada. There were probably 3 or 4 different directions you could go. You could go by the ocean. You could go through Seattle. A lot of people did that because of marketing. That's a whole story. You could go overland. You could go through the river. You could come from the north, the south, the east, the west. What direction is going to get you where you actually want to go? And this is a thing that I'm learning for myself, is how can I, excuse me, this cough needs to stop. How can I be less about keeping busy with things that are important, but maybe not necessary to where I'm headed? And how can I stay more focused on what actually gets me where I want to go? Sometimes it's not all that clear. There are ancillary side benefits to lots of things that we do that we can't foresee. But in terms of what I am making an effort to go out and do, how much of that is in alignment with where I want to go with my whole life? What's the big adventure that I've signed up for? Now, I think it's important to know that as we're doing all this adventuring, we never do it alone. And being a person of faith, this is a song that I wrote early on in my LA career, just to remind me that I didn't come here by myself. I don't do any of this work by myself. And I have the hands of someone much bigger and stronger and more capable than I am backing me up and helping me and somebody walking with me. So whether that is a reality for you or not, I hope that this song helps you connect with the ways in which you do know that you're not alone. And it's called You Are Always With Me. Greater love has no one than this, to lay down his life Thanks for joining me today. Have fun on your adventure. Come back and tell me how it goes.